Yeah.
You said on your opening night that the best thing you can give a young child, a young person, is to give them purpose.
Yeah.
Now, growing up in the church, we weren't told about purpose as much. Usually we have one purpose, which is serve God with all your heart and do whatever God tells you to do. But is there such a thing as discovering your purpose and finding what God has called you to be and to do? And if so, what are the biblical steps to actually find your purpose as a young man or woman?
Sure. When I look at the Apostle Paul, so you'll remember in Galatians 1:15 and 16, it says, "But when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb, and who called me by his grace to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him unto the heathen." Paul literally discovered the purpose of his life.
Wow.
He literally understood the purpose of his life. Like Isaiah 43 and verse 7 makes it clear, we're all created to glorify God.
Yes.
But the question is how? Some glorify God as a lawyer. Some glorify God as a mortician. Some of us glorify God as a singer. So there's specific ways that we can glorify God. Now, in this case, Paul says, God made it known to me that this is the purpose of my life. And the best news in the world is that when you read 2 Timothy chapter 4, like right between verses 1 and 10, you literally see Paul saying, I finished my course.
Yes.
Now, we have the privilege, man. We have a right by the grace of God to close out our lives saying the same thing.
Wow.
I feel like every Christian should be able to say, I finished my course. And this is something maybe a lot of people don't get to say, but we should be able to say that if we're followers of God. We should be able to say, I finished my course. But that means you have to know your course, right? Yeah. So what are ways that we can know our course? Well, there's a couple of ways. There's a book that I would recommend to every young person to read.
Okay.
I have 4 children. The ages are 25, 24, 23, and next month will be 22. Wow. And so I have a bunch of 20-year-olds, and they all will tell you, Daddy taught us from early on in their lives, read the book Education. This is a book authored by Ellen White. Okay. It's an excellent book. It's actually respected by many secular writers, especially on the subject of education. They feel like Ellen White was way ahead of her time when it came to education. And in the book Education, there's a chapter. It begins on page 262, and it's called The Life Work.
Life work.
I would encourage every young person, read that chapter, The Life Work. Okay? It has beautiful gems in it. So check this out. So on page 267, it says, this is the sentence. It says, the specific place. Keep in mind those 2 words, specific place. This is not general. This is specific. The specific place that God has appointed us in this life will be determined by our capabilities.